So far, I've lived a very full, busy, and fruitful life. I have no regrets whatsoever. But your girl is tired. I'm at an age now where I am ready to start living my life on my own terms. Less hustle, less stress and anxiety, and more umbrella drinks.
I'll always be a high achiever with big goals, but I want to achieve those big goals now without teetering on the edge of burnout constantly. So now in my 40s, I've learned that you can also achieve great things by playing life on easy mode. So here are 4 simple living tips that can help you to play life on easy mode.
First up, we have to realize that we are limited. Between all the things we juggle in life, your work, social life, side hustle, it is just so easy to chronically overschedule your days. And the reason that we're doing this is because 1, we're scared to say no to people, and 2, we think that things will take a lot shorter than they actually do. We end up with jam-packed schedules. And then we try all the time management techniques and all the productivity tricks so that we can cram more and more stuff into an hour, into 5 minutes. But as you and I know, time will not be manipulated. We can't do anything about how fast the time goes. We feel that sometimes time goes faster or slower, but honestly, objectively, we can't do anything about it. Oliver Burkeman puts it beautifully in his book 4,000 Weeks. He says it's simply irrational to be overwhelmed or feel some type of way by a jam-packed schedule. You'll do what you can, and all the rest you simply won't do. You just have to ignore that inner voice of yours that's insisting that you have to do it all. That voice is simply wrong. You have to make peace with the fact that we have limitations and we just simply can't do it all. You have to choose a few things that you really want to do, and then you have to sacrifice everything else. An example of this is learning Japanese for me. So at the beginning of this year, I decided that I wanted to learn Japanese because eventually I want to go to Japan for a few months and be able to, at least on a basic level, speak the language so I understand everybody around me and can communicate with the locals. However, my priorities have shifted this year. I am now really going for a new personal record with my running, and I also really want to be consistent with my YouTube videos and get better with videography. So that means that now I cannot put all my attention to Japanese, and if I really want to learn Japanese well, I need to be able to put priority to learning that language. And at this point, it simply isn't a priority, so I'm just gonna let that go for now. And letting go of things might make you feel like you are missing out on something, right? You have that FOMO, fear of missing out, but I think that we should flip that mindset upside down, and instead of having FOMO, we need to embrace the joy of missing out. It's all about recognizing that you don't even want to do it all, because if you deliberately miss out on some things, then you can give the things that are really, really important to you your full attention. Now, my suggestion is to recognize what your physical, your social, and your mental capacity is, and then say no to anything that exceeds that capacity. Because in any given season in life, you want to prioritize specific things, and you have to say no to other things. Now, YouTube's favorite female super entrepreneur, Layla Hermosi, calls it being in your season of no. For example, if your priority in this season of life is working hard because you want to provide for your family, maybe you want to save up for a new vehicle that your family needs, or you need to save up for a down payment for your house, then in that season where you're working hard, making that money, that means that you have to say no to weeknight dinners maybe because you have to rest up. That means you have to say no to binge watching your favorite shows, again, because you have to rest, because you have to work hard the next day. But because you're deliberately choosing to work hard for your family, you can be proud of yourself. Instead of having that fear of missing out, you can be joyful for the things that you are choosing. You have the joy of making a good decision. You should settle, which conceivably is a very unpopular opinion, specifically when we consider all of that inspirational content that's out there where they definitely say not to settle for the car that you have, not to settle for the type of vacations that you go on, not to settle for your life in general, for your life's partner. All of the messaging out there is that you should never settle. But as Berkman puts it, you should definitely settle. Or to be more precise, you actually don't have a choice. Think about it, we've just spoken about the limited time that we have. And do you really want to spend decades of that limited time that you have chasing something better? A better car, a better partner, or a nicer lawn? If you really want to enjoy the collected parts, the sum of the parts of your life, then settling is just necessary. For example, if you really want to get good at something, say it's art, you will have to settle on the fact that you want to become a really good artist. You're going to have to settle on spending hours on painting or drawing and honing that craft. Similarly, if you want to become a world-class athlete, you're going to have to settle for a life of extreme physical demand and make sacrifices that come with that. But if you strive to do both, then conceivably you can be really good at both of these things, but you can never do both of the things at the very top level. If you want to get great at one of them, you're gonna have to settle for one of them. Same with a romantic partner, right? When you get married, the traditional phrase is to say to stay together for better or for worse. That means staying together when it gets rough, but it also means sticking together when there's an alternative that seems temporarily more appealing. And in theory, there's a huge pool of potential life partners out there. But the phrase is life partner for a reason. When you settle for your person, you can make that strong and meaningful connection. Settling to me means going all in on the choices that you've made, and I think that's a great thing to do. Allow yourself to evolve. Tim Ferriss was originally known as the king of optimization. And recently I listened to the Rich Roll podcast where he was on, and I was surprised to hear that this king of productivity has actually changed his mind. He's no longer about the hyper-productivity anymore. In his own words, he has shifted to also cultivating self-love in addition to achievement. Now, I'll leave a link to that podcast in the description below. It is a long one, about 2 hours, maybe even more, but it's definitely worth the listen. Now, just like Tim Ferriss, in my 20s and 30s, I was all about only optimization and about hyper-achievement. All the goals that I was going for needed to involve some type of suffering because otherwise the goal was just simply not worth doing. It needed to be hard, it needed to be lofty, but just like Tim Ferriss, I have changed my mind. Even though I'm still very analytical and also still very goal-driven, I am now taking a more holistic approach to life where I pay attention to all the other things that I need as a person as well. And I'm thinking about nutrition, I'm thinking about my body moving more, thinking about my mental health. I'm taking all these things into consideration as well and no longer only focusing on productivity. I'm making sure that I rest when I need it. I am now the type of person that takes naps. I would never do that in the past, but napping is wonderful and it rejuvenates you when you need it. Sleep is so much more important than I used to think. And then in general, I'm just being more mindful. I notice things more. I want to be in the moment more, and I want to be outside more. Like I said earlier, there's a season for everything. If you would have told the 20-year-old version of me that I need to take naps and meditate to feel better, I would have politely smiled. But in my head, I would be like, well, that's stupid. But the 41-year-old me knows that I would definitely benefit from all of that stuff even back then. I'm definitely evolving. I have a completely different approach to life now. And that was really hard to acknowledge, honestly, in the beginning, that the way I had been doing life was no longer serving me. But I think it's really important for us to continuously evolve throughout our life and do the things that serve us best. Be unbothered. Growing up, my grandpa on my dad's side was the chillest man that I have ever known. Maybe he was embodying that island vibe really well because he lived in Curaçao. And to this day, I just have not met anybody that was so unbothered as he was. Literally nothing could get him out of his groove. He was just so calm and always even-keeled. La ganada preocupaba corazón is something they say in the island of Curaçao in Papiamento, which is the language that they speak there. And maybe not everybody says it. Maybe it's just something that my family said. But that means don't let anything bother your heart. And I really love that phrase a lot because that just tells me that living your life unbothered is a great way to go about it. To become more unbothered every day, I try to just lighten up a little. I worry less about problems and I see them more as challenges or as puzzles. And I just think to myself that there will always be some sort of a solution, even if it's not the ideal solution, even if it's not the way I want it to go, it's just going to have to be fine. In the podcast that I just referenced, Tim Ferriss mentioned that he used to be, in his 20s, 30s, afraid of losing his edge if he would do things like meditate. And for me, definitely, I used to think the same thing. But right now, again, I've just changed my mind completely. I now have a daily meditation practice, which is only 20 minutes a day, but I'm really proud that I've been very consistent with it. And with that meditation, I'm noticing that I am more calm. My heart rate is going down. I am more serene. And because of those things, I'm just less bothered by things and less bothered by people. It means that it takes a lot more for somebody to get me off my game. By becoming more mindful, I've become more unbothered, and with that, I'm actually achieving my goals more efficiently. If you need some inspiration on how to become unbothered, then I'd recommend the book 101 Ways to Stress-Free Living by Susanna Oliver, or Olivier. The book honestly doesn't have any new earth-shattering tips or anything like that, but it is a good reminder on how to de-stress, how to declutter, and uncomplicate your life a little bit. I hope that these 4 tips to simplify your life were helpful for you, and let me know if anything resonated with you. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today and sharing so much of your valuable time with me. If you're still here at this point in the video, then you are definitely my people, and I would love it if you'd subscribe and come hang out with me in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.